everyone, and welcome to another Dead by Daylight video. We have the February 2020 developer update that just came out a few hours ago, and I'm just now able to sit down, give it a read, and see what my thoughts are. So we're gonna scroll down and see what we have. So, there we go. The first developer update of the new year is here. In this series of blog posts, we take a look at some upcoming changes and improvements making their way to Dead by Daylight, as well as our progress on any pressing issues. This time around, we'll be revealing the changes coming to toolboxes and items, changes to a pair of killers, and a new game-changing feature. Alright, so matchmaking, let's see what they have. We are working on a brand new matchmaking ranking system. In case you missed it, you can read up on the full details. Yeah, we already know about that, and we already know it's not going to work, and it's going to be terrible. Anyway, moving on. What do we have here? Toolbox repair changes. Ooh, okay. Toolboxes have been on our to-do list for a while now. While they aren't always a game changer on their own, they are literally always a game changer. No matter what happens, they're a game changer. They speed up gen times. So, I don't know how you say that's not a game changer, but whatever. Whatever. They can quickly become problematic when multiple survivors choose to bring one into a trial, especially after we've removed our giant band-aid fix of ruin and replaced it with something that is completely ignorable, thus imbalancing the game. Since repairing generators is the survivor's main objective, we want to make sure that they cannot speed up the repairs too much. This is something we've kept in mind with perks, which is why so few perks affect repair speed. Smart. Toolboxes were an outlier in that they could be used to considerably speed up your repairs across multiple generators, shaving off a lot of repair time. This is very, very true. It's why I use them right now in the meta, because toolboxes with this new meta are just insane, especially with Prove Thyself. If you're not running Prove Thyself right now as a survivor, I mean, shame on you. Anyway, to balance this, we are drastically lowering the number of charges toolboxes have, good, but increasing their speed to compensate. This way you'll be able to repair a small portion of a generator very quickly, but your toolbox will run out much sooner as well. So, does this mean that toolboxes will only be able to, like, repair maximum 25% of a combined progress? Like, you know how you have to sometimes repair, like, the equivalent of two generators? Will the toolbox be the equivalent of maybe, like, say, 25%, but that 25% goes much faster than just repairing one without a toolbox? How is this going to affect things like brand new parts, where brand new parts, if you hit both your skill checks, get 25% immediately? So if you brand new part with a toolbox fully decked out, I mean, is that going to be like 50% in under 10 seconds? Because if 4 of those are brought in, I mean, you have seriously unbalanced your game. I don't care if it's not multiple toolboxes. 4 different generators with that kind of setup, that's going to be broken. Anyway, let's see what 2 large benefits. Toolboxes have a much lower impact on the match and can no longer be used the whole time you repair. Cannot be used the whole time you repair. Maybe, meaning even with like the max charges and all that, you can't repair a single generator with just one. The amount of time saved with the toolbox is much lower overall. There is more strategy involved when you should use your toolbox, e.g., do you use it right away and risk being interrupted before you can finish the generator, or do you save it for a moment where the killer is heading your way and the generator is almost done? Interesting. So this tells you that it's got a lot of burst, extreme burst, especially if the killer's heading your way and you need to just use the generator or you need to use the toolbox real quick just to make sure that it gets done. So probably not enough to finish with the best repair toolbox and the best repair, or what am I trying to think of? Charges, add-ons, and stuff like that. You can't repair a single generator, but one generator can get bursted out quickly. So if 4 toolboxes are brought in, I still see that as maybe being a problem. I will have to wait and see. The PTB's tomorrow. The what am I trying to think of? The new killer new chapter cinematic and stuff. That's going to be all out tomorrow. The PTB is going to be crazy with all this stuff implemented into it, as well as the new killer and new survivor. So anyway, that's my thoughts. We'll have to see. Bursty. Sounds bursty. Sabotage changes. We've made these changes to sabotage to go along with the updated toolboxes. There's a few things we'd like to address with the current sabotage mechanics. Sabotage saves take a lot of time and coordination to pull off, making them very difficult and unreliable. True. Unless, number 2. If a coordinating team pulls it off, the killer is forced to slug the survivor since they cannot make it to a hook. If the survivors are using unbreakable or no mither, it can be pretty unfair to the killer. Well, they acknowledge that breaking or sabotaging hooks is unfair. Let's see how they're going to fuck this up. Because just that right there tells you that they see it as being unfair. So, but we're doing this anyway, so let's see what they say. To make sabotaging more interesting and accessible, meaning more players can do it, so you'll see it a lot more often, this unfair thing. Okay. We have made the following changes. Sabotaging now takes only a few seconds. Jesus. But progress resets if you cancel the interaction. Which, I mean, if you only need a few seconds, it doesn't take a fucking monkey to do it then, does it? You won't need to worry about it. Okay, that's irritating. The number of... I'm betting... Let me read the rest of this and I'll try and figure... I think I have an idea of how many seconds it'll be. The number of hooks that can be sabotaged with a single toolbox is very limited. I mean, it was limited already to like 2. How many is it now? 1? That would be very limited. Sabotage hooks respawn much faster. Please give us a time on stuff like this. Don't say much faster. Don't say much faster. Just tell us how long so that in the PTB we can tell you, hey, if it takes 1 minute... it's still too long because now everybody's running fucking sabotage. And they just run around sabotaging hooks, and there's no hooks on the map, and you have to hope to God that they're not running back once that minute is over and sabotaging the hook again. Anyway. Sabotage hooks can now be sabotaged from any angle. Bear traps can no longer be sabotaged. Thank you, Jesus. I mean, now that Trapper can reset his traps while they're on the ground, and now his stuff can't be sabotaged. I mean, that's 2 good quality of life changes for Trapper. Now all he needs is the last 2. Carry more than 1 at a time, please. Minimum 2. And make dark traps like default. Okay, so... the result is a much more dynamic sabotage interaction. Rather than running around getting hooks ready at the start of a match, sabotaging is now something that can be done on the fly. Meanwhile, if the killer reacts quickly, they may be able to take the survivor to a different hook in time or drop the survivor and try again when the hook respawns shortly after. Okay, a lot to unpack there. So first off, if the killer reacts quickly, they may be able to take the survivor to a different hook. Okay, so, I mean, you usually only have 1 or 2 options for a hook. And now... you have to kind of dedicate yourself to one of those 2 options. Or drop the survivor and try again when the hook respawns shortly after. So the part where or drop the survivor, which they literally just said, if the survivor is using unbreakable or no mither, it can be pretty unfair to them. So if you have to do this thing that is unfair to you, you can try again when the hook respawns shortly after. So I don't think it's going to be 1 minute. From what I can see, from what I'm gleaning from this context, is that the hook should respawn in time for you to be able to pick that survivor back up before they fully recover. Now, I'm not sure what the fully recovered time is. I think it's like 30 seconds, something like that. Which means this these hooks would have to respawn in about 20-25 seconds, but I would rather have numbers. To match the changes to sabotaging, we have adjusted the following perks. Oh god. Okay, so Saboteur. See the auras of hooks within the killer's carrying range when a survivor is picked up. And sabotage a hook without the need for a toolbox with a cooldown. Saboteur, at least, if you don't actually sabotage the hooks, if you don't use it for that, it can actually become a really good information perk. Just using it for the information, because whenever the killer picks up a survivor, you're going to get those hooks, and you're going to see the highlighted hooks around them, and you're going to know right around where the killer is. Like, if a killer's using knockout or something like that, you still get that information. And if the killer's moving, I'm curious to know if like it moves closer to another hook and then moves further away from another hook, if the one he moves further away from, like, it stops being highlighted and the new one he gets closer to gets highlighted. If that's the case, you'll be able to tell which direction he's going. So that's actually a pretty interesting information perk now. If it works like that. We'll have to see on the PTB, won't we? Anyway, let's see. Hangman's Trick. You know, the thing no one ever uses. Gain a notification when a hook sabotage starts. While carrying a survivor, see the auras of any survivors within a set range of a hook. Now, is it... Okay, first off, gain a notification when a hook sabotage starts. So, first off, this needs to be a unique notification. It has to be. If not, it's just going to be one more explosion in a fucking series of explosions that's going all around all over the place. I mean, you might be able to just tell because, you know, you're looking at the hook that somebody's trying to sabotage, but if not, it's just going to be one more explosion. While carrying a survivor, see the auras of any survivors within a set range of a hook. Now, if it's just the hook you're looking at, decent information. If it's just any survivors around any hooks within a set range of any hooks, that might be interesting. That could be very interesting, in fact, because that could give you a lot of information if they're hiding around, like, just around the bend where another hook is that you chose not to go to. If they're in the basement while you're carrying a survivor, like they've gone down there to, you know, get the chest or something like that, that's... I mean, I don't think it would ever be meta, but it's good information to have. Especially if they're running, you know, to you to try and get the save late, like right after you're done. They're going to be running like beeline or trying to go by hooks and stuff like that, which are usually beside, what am I trying to think of? Objects, walls, and stuff like that. So it might actually be worth it. I mean, if you combine it with... It's not Corrupt Intervention. What's the one I'm thinking of? I can't think of it right now. But the perk that when you pick up a survivor, it blocks all the gens. If you do that, and then you're using Hangman's Trick, they're going to be like, okay, well, we can't get on this gen for a bit. Maybe we'll just go and help that survivor. Could be interesting. Okay, and then Breakdown. Hooks broken with this perk will remain broken for 3 minutes. Jesus Christ. Like, if they don't want you to tunnel you... Oh, my God. Okay. So that's the potential of... If you're really good, really, really good, they all get hooked twice somehow within that span. Which it's not impossible, but... It's a total of 8 hooks gone at any given time. I doubt it'll happen very often, but Jesus, 3 minutes? That's longer than a sabotage hook is now. Damn. Okay. Sounds broken. They're going to have to lower that. Item retention update. With the update to Toolboxes and the recent medkit changes in mind, we have made changes to the way items are handled once they are used up. Currently, an efficient survivor will keep an eye on their item and stop using it at the last second in order to escape with it and keep it. Since most items are used up very quickly, we want to avoid awkward situations where you're trying to stop at the last second and accidentally destroy your item. But killers don't get to keep their add-ons, so why should they get to keep their items? Going forward, items will not be destroyed if all their charges are used up. That's horseshit. Killers don't get to keep their add-ons. Killers, if you don't use if you use all of your add-ons, don't worry, they get to go away. But all these items that the survivors get to bring in, they get to keep theirs if they escape. So it's fine. It's fine. If you escape with an item with no charges left, it will be added back to your inventory as always. Well, if you don't escape, it wouldn't be added back now, would it? What the hell do you mean, as always? Jesus. At the same time, we'll be making it so that any add-ons you equip are consumed after the match. I mean, you got halfway to a good thing. Congratulations. Whether you equip the item or not. This is in line with killer add-ons, which are single use. Ace in the Hole will allow you to keep any add-ons you escape the trial with. But they get to keep the items. Anyway, if they escape the trial and use them up. That's BS, I think, but whatever. If literally 100% of the player base said, no, we don't like this change, don't implement it, they'd implement it anyway, because they want to see. So it's not one of those things where saying anything will actually matter. So it's crap that they get to keep their items if they used up their items. I don't care if they get to lose the add-ons or not, it's still crap. It's like you used it up. It's worthless now, but it's okay, we're going to give it back to you so it can be worth more later. Anyway, new feature, Breakable Walls. Debuting alongside the next chapter, we are pleased to announce a new feature that will allow killers to shape the map as they hunt down survivors. Breakable Walls. This mechanic is available to all killers. Interesting. Breakable walls appear in present locations, much like pallets. Unlike pallets, a survivor cannot interact with them in any way. The killer, however, can walk up to one of these walls and break it down whenever they like. I see this as the Band-Aid fix to infinite walls and infinite loops. They're not actually going to change the map up. They're just going to add the breakable walls. So, it's up to you to fix our game. That's what they're telling you. So, for now, they will be exclusive to the upcoming map. So, there you go. There's something you can look forward to in the next chapter. Jesus. They just flat out told you there's going to be a new map in the next chapter, where we'll be experimenting with different uses. Breaking some may make a strong window loop weaker, allowing you to catch up much quicker. Others might open up new paths to get around the map faster. We'll be keeping a close eye... We'll be keeping a close eye on how everyone uses them to see what works best before adding them to existing maps. Except, it looks like they already have them added to Larry's. That tells me we've already got an idea where we're going to put these things, but we're going to take it slow and not promise anything. When breakable walls are added to other maps, they will appear differently to suit the realm's theme. Sort of like vaults and stuff like that, okay. Though they may look different from one map to the next, we'll make sure they are easily recognizable so it is clear which walls can and can't be broken at a glance. You can kind of tell on Larry's if you just go around and walk around there and look at it. Additionally, any perk or add-on that affects pallet breaking speed will be extended to breakable walls. Killer powers that can break pallets will also be able to break these walls. So here's a question. Spirit Fury. If you break 3 pallets, can you just walk straight through a wall without having to do the break animation? That's a question I want answered now. Something I'm gonna have to get a group into the PTB and we're gonna have to find out these things. I want to know how long it would take to break the wall to begin with, like its base speed. Is it just like 2.5 seconds, sort of like breaking a pallet is, or is it going to be longer because it's a wall? Curious now. So now, wait. That means any perk or... Okay, killer powers that can break pallets will also be able to break these walls. So Billy, Bubba, Oni, Demogorgon, they can all just smash through these walls. Alright. Interesting. Interesting. Which means, actually, that means future maps will actually take into account, okay, they can break this wall to make it easier on themselves, so we're going to make this wall super, super safe and force them to break the wall. That right there, you have to try and think like them. Okay, if we implement this, it means we can make even better survivor-sided maps, and if we give the killers a few breakable walls and be like, oh, well, at least you can make this one easier. I guarantee you, almost guarantee you that's the way they're going to redo Haddonfield. We'll just put a bunch of breakable walls in, it'll be fine. The survivors will get away 5 times. Killer will break 5 walls. Waste all this 5 fucking minutes time trying to break the walls, and by that time, you know what? They broke the walls and made those loops easier, but, I mean, the gens are already done and they've escaped. Almost guarantee you they've implemented this so they can make map redesign easier. Well, we'll just keep the map as it is and we'll make the infinite... Oh, the killer can just break the wall now. It's fine now. It's fine as it is. So, let's go to the killer changes. With the release of the next chapter, a few existing killers will be receiving slight changes. The Doctor just... Okay. They literally just revamped him, so now they're going to change him again. With the update the Doctor received in the last mid-chapter, there are now 2 ways to inflict madness: shock therapy and static blast. To make it clearer what is required to increase a survivor's madness level, we are making the following changes. Madness no longer decays passively over time. Okay. Shock therapy will add half of a madness level to any survivor's hit. Static blast will add a full madness level to any survivor's hit. Does that mean you have to hit them twice just to get them into madness 1? With a shock therapy? That's kind of garbage. Anyway, overall, the amount of times you need to shock a survivor to increase their madness should feel roughly the same, since their madness will no longer passively decay, except at first, because they haven't answered this question. Our hope is that this will make it much easier, or much clearer, to both the person playing the Doctor and any survivors playing against them. Exactly what it will take to make them reach the next level. That's not true at all. At all. You're going to have to be some kind of wizard to be able to track all 4 survivors' madness levels that you've hit them with. I don't think they I mean, for the survivors, yes. The survivors, because they only have to care about themselves. They'll be able to tell. And they get a number. They get the arrows showing what madness level they're in. I mean, that's fucking ridiculous. Don't worry, you only have to have 2 of these or 1 of these. I can just look on my fucking screen. I don't need that as a survivor. The killer needs a better way to be able to track it. They need to have better icons for the Doctor when it comes to that. So this was kind of pointless. Anyway, I'm gonna guess it's your mid-chase. 1, 2, okay, he's in Madness 1. Okay, I'll Static Blast. Now he's in 3. Let me 3, 4. Okay, now he's in Tier 3. I don't know. I don't think this was a necessary thing to do. Unnecessary. Completely unnecessary. The Plague. Going forward, the Plague will always start with 1 corrupted fountain. So they rolled in one of her add-ons into her base kit. That's good, actually. I like that. The goals behind this change are very simple. This ensures that the Plague is able to use her Corrupt Purge in any match, even if the survivors opt not to cleanse. Because if they don't, they literally take away the most powerful part about her power. Survivors are still able to decide not to cleanse and simply endure her Corrupt Purge, although they will be taking a huge risk in doing so since they will be injured. That's always the case, though. How is that a change? That's not a change, you dumbasses. Just put the goal behind this change. The goal behind this change is very simple. Just the one. You can always use your Corrupt Purge in a map. You always have that option. The second thing is not a change. Survivors have always been able to decide not to cleanse and simply endure the Corrupt Purge. I don't think you guys play the game sometimes when you say stuff like this. It's not a change. Anyway, and finally, this adds another layer of strategy to playing the plague. You can decide if you want to use your guaranteed fountain right away to help get an early down, or save it for later in the match when a few survivors are already broken from your vile purge. Now, smart thing to do, if you want that early game pressure, yeah, you can go ahead and grab that, like puke on a few things on your way to grabbing the corrupted fountain, and then use the corrupted fountain if you're sure you know where the survivors are. You can do that. But mid-game to late game is where this really comes in, when survivors have stopped kind of healing each other and they're mostly focused on trying to get these last few gens done. And that's when you go over and get that. I wish if they cleansed, I wish you had the option of never ever using your corrupt purge, and that the corrupted fountains stayed corrupted. I think that would be the best option. Alright. And finally, the Trapper. As mentioned above, the Trapper's traps will no longer give the survivors an option to sabotage them. Additionally, his traps can now be reset without picking them up first. This option is available whether you're currently holding another trap or not. So yeah, like they said, they can't be sabotaged. They should never have been able to be sabotaged to begin with. Being able to use a perk to get rid of a killer's power completely was bullshit. Being able to use an item to get rid of a killer's power completely is bullshit. Makes no sense when it comes to the hag either. Flashlight on this thing in the mud. It goes away. Oh. Anyway. And now being able to reset his traps without picking them up first is good. The option is available whether you're currently holding another trap or not. A good quality of life change for him. But they still really need to bake in the brown bag and dark traps. That, I think, would really help him out. Being able to have multiple traps at the beginning. Because it really hurts him to have to go around, set a trap, walk over somewhere else, set another trap. At least with one trap that you set down, you can at least chase the survivor with a secondary trap and block something off that they think is going to be safe for them. But this concludes the February edition of our developer update. As always, all of these changes will be available for testing on the PTV before they go live. We look forward to hearing what you think about everything we've detailed today. Okay. Well, that's it, I suppose. The only thing that I'm worried about is Saboteur and Sabotage being a couple seconds now. Because it takes you a couple seconds just to pick up the survivor. And if you're right by a hook and another survivor is there, the few seconds it takes you to pick up the survivor and be able to start moving, that might be enough time for them to sabotage the hook. And if that is the case, it is going to be just a giant pain in the ass. It's like they're trying to find ways for the killer. They're like, hey, we did this for the killers. I mean, granted, we made it so much easier for the survivors to piss you off and inconvenience you, but whatever. But anyway, other than that, most of the changes, I think, they'll be good for the most part until they start designing maps with ultra-safe loops and infinites with the excuse that you can still break down the wall if you want to. But that'll be the video. I hope you guys found this informative. I hope you found my opinions logical, my concerns at least realistic and appreciable. I hope you all have a great day. And as always, stay positive.